All right, you guys. I really think that we should cover this in our next episode.
Absolutely, I think that's a great idea. I love this topic.
Yeah, I definitely agree, guys. That's a good topic.
Who the hell is that?
Grandpa Jenkins?
Who?
Who the hell is talking about that?
Hello?
Hi, is this Big Sexy the Heel in BG?
No, this is KFR Sportscast.
What?
What? Who the hell was that?
Sucker.
What's going on, sports fans? Welcome to this episode of KFR Sportscast. And yes, you heard that right. KFR Sportscast. All three of us together. We got my man here. Wow. I almost called you Big Jake. Lil Jake.
Wow.
I know. We got Big Jake below me, also known as Big Sexy. And we got me, BG. And we are here to talk post-season football. Haven't done this since week 1, so why not? We're like that. We're like those kids that we go to the first class and we get the synopsis, and then we don't show up to the exam. So
Yeah, it's good to be back.
So first slate of games here. So first are going to be played on Saturday. So we got 6 games going into the weekend, and the first game that we got is the Chargers going into Houston to play the Texans. I'll hand it off to one of you guys. Whoever wants to take it first, go for it.
Yeah, I'll take this one first. I think I'm gonna pick the Chargers in this game. I just feel like Houston's going into this game a little bit too banged up. They got injuries across the board, and this Chargers team is very well coached this season. Justin Herbert's playing at a really good level right now. That defense is far better than it was the year prior. They've been playing lights out all season. Give me the Chargers.
Yeah, very much. Lots of people were on the Houston hype bandwagon this year, as these two were. They were very much. Stroud had he had a great rookie year, and Sky was the limit, but it just kind of seemed like a temper expectations kind of thing. He regressed a little bit. Losing Diggs wasn't great. Eventually, losing Tank Dell wasn't good for him either. And there have been a lot of injuries on this team. But this team isn't quite what people thought. They thought, this team could be in the AFC Championship game. This team could be that good this year. I think they kind of took a step back. They still win their very awful division. Who hasn't seen that coming? This Chargers team is finally showing, hey, look at all this talent we have. If only we had a good coach to set us right, to put us in the right place. And they seemingly have done that. The way they run their offense and the way they run the ball, and take a lot of responsibility out of Herbert's hands. This, they've been phenomenal at times this season, and clearly they've gotten to this point. I thought I was going to be the only one picking the Chargers here, but I am also on the former San Diego Chargers here in this game. I just think they got more momentum, more momentum. They got more momentum. They're healthier, and I just think Houston's got another year or two until maybe they're considered to that next level, maybe even back to next year. But right now, they're not the better team.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I was definitely, obviously, as we went through last year, right, CJ Stroud was, right, MVP caliber, great offensive rookie, and, he started off the season really hot. I mean, me personally, I had Houston in a very early Super Bowl contender, and then they had injuries and they just kind of plateaued. Definitely hurt them. And speaking on the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh doing fantastic, making that transition from college back into the NFL. Obviously, we all know that he coached previously in the NFL. He's got those guys playing good. They're playing on a different level, and everybody thought going into the season that Justin Herbert, losing Austin Eckler, losing Mike Williams, losing Keenan Allen, what's he going to do? And he's like, I don't need them. I'm straight. We good. Right? So
He's like, I got Lad McConkey.
Yeah, exactly.
My boy, Lad McConkey.
That's right.
I got Josh Palmer. We're fine.
Yeah, and those guys definitely stepped up, and and then J.K. Dobbins was looking really good. He obviously went down with some injuries, but that didn't really stop. So yeah, I think momentum-wise, I think Heel, I think you're completely right. I think momentum carries them into the postseason. I think it carries them to a win on Saturday. Absolutely. Next game up, we have a divisional game. We have Pittsburgh going into Baltimore Saturday night. Now remind me, is this a split, right? Head to head from the season?
If I'm not mistaken. Pittsburgh won game 1, Baltimore won game 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so it is a split.
Yeah, I believe it is a split.
All right, well, what you guys got?
If it was at some point earlier in the season, I might have taken Pittsburgh, but they've fallen apart. They got to their 10-win plateau, and they just kind of said, that's good enough. They lost 4 games in a row, and they've just been sliding on their faces. I can't really put a finger on what their issues is. Russ is regressing a little bit. He had shown promise at the beginning of the season. Issues with George Pickens. Everybody's got beef with George Pickens, man. He's definitely people were comparing him to Antonio Brown. I heard that a couple times this week, and I'm just like, listen, you'll never be as bad as that, all right? There's no way we can ever get Antonio Brown taking his jersey off, running off the field, giving the signs, all right? No one will ever be that bad.
Which shout out, that was 3 years ago today, as of recording day. So a little look back on history. So
yeah, never be that bad. But Pittsburgh is reeling. Their defense is still going to hold them in games. I have no doubt about that. And I think that is the strong factor that could win them this game. But playing better than his MVP season last year. And even losing Zay Flowers potentially for this week, I still think that offense will do just fine with Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews and whatever contributions that Derrick Henry, who is the best player on that offense. That's no shade, but that's the truth. I just think right now they're playing better football, and they're destined to at least get one playoff win this postseason. Give me Baltimore here. But it's going to be one of those gross games. It's probably going to be like 12-15, 13-17, 9-6.
Yeah, this is it's just it's just the tale of there's 3 things that are certain in life: death, taxes, and a mediocre Steelers team making the playoffs. The thing is like there was points in the season to where the Steelers didn't look mediocre. And now they've kind of like fell in line to being back to that mediocre status. At least their offense has. Their defense has been fantastic all season long. I don't know what it was. Like their offense just kind of hit a plateau, and they've just kind of like flattened out, especially in the past few weeks. The Ravens, starting to get hot at the right time as far as that divisional race went. Well, I think it was Pittsburgh up 2 games on them in the division, and Baltimore still ended up winning. I got Baltimore in this game. I just feel like they got more momentum going in. The key for the Steelers to win this game is that offense is going to have to get out of that little rut they've been in as of late. Russell Wilson's going to need to step up. He's going to need that young group of receivers to step up. He's going to need Najee Harris to step up, and take advantage of a Baltimore defense compared to what they were last season is subpar compared to some of the other defense around the league. Maybe not so much, but compared to how good that Ravens defense was last season, this Ravens defense now doesn't even hold a candle. But I still think Baltimore is, as of right now, has more momentum. I'm going with the Ravens to win at home.
Those are great points. I think, the success of Pittsburgh leans on their offense. Their defense is going to keep playing the way that the defense has been playing, and like you said, defense has been playing lights out all year. TJ Watt is just a menace to society,
which isn't really breaking news if you watch the slightest bit of football.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's gonna come down. Yeah, it's gonna come down to Russell Wilson and his receivers. And I think going into this game, Pittsburgh is going to play with a chip on their shoulder. I mean, they're going into Baltimore. Baltimore is already a tough place to play in itself. Baltimore, I mean, they probably don't have to do a whole lot with this game other than just hand the ball off to 22 in the backfield, chew clock and let him do his thing. I mean, he's going to wear on that defense, and just like he does in every other game. So I'm also going to take Baltimore. I just think Baltimore was super hot in the beginning of the year. They dipped a little bit, but they got their shit together. They got their shit together, and now they're starting to play well again. Like you said, they're starting to catch fire at the right time. So I'm also going to take Baltimore. All right, next game up we have starting on our Sunday slate. So we got 3 games on Sunday. Starting on our Sunday slate is rookie Bo Nix going into the Mafia of Buffalo to play what everybody should see as MVP Josh Allen. So we're gonna leave the heel for last. I know that. So Big Sexy, why don't you kick us off here?
Yeah. Personally, myself, I think that if any year Josh Allen should win the MVP, I think it definitely should be this year. Now, Lamar does make a fairly strong case. I'm not gonna discredit anything that he's done this season. His passing numbers are the highest that they've ever been. That's thanks to having to, getting to lean on Derrick Henry running the football more. Josh Allen, I mean, look at who he's got around him, and then look at who Lamar's got around him. If you're talking about the term, most valuable player to the literal sense, you take Josh Allen away from this Bills team, and they're an 8-9, 7-10 team at best. 8-9, 7-10. They might be good enough to just be mediocre. Definitely not a playoff team. Not a number 2 seed in the AFC. You got Bo Nix. A lot of people slept on in the draft, and if he would have gotten drafted anywhere else, could he have been as successful than playing under Sean Payton? I don't know. But, it's definitely interesting to watch some of these rookie quarterbacks this year with the exception of like Jaden Daniels. I mean, he steps right in to this Broncos team that was really not good last year, and now they make the playoffs in his first year starting. And he started the entire season. He went out there week 1 and on. He started the entire season. Now, as far as this game goes, I'm going to take Buffalo. I mean, it's just I just think that I don't think Denver's going to be able to keep up with Buffalo as far as scoring goes. Buffalo handed Kansas City their first loss, and they beat a really, really good Detroit Lions team this year. That Lions game was an absolute shootout. Josh Allen, I think that was encapsulated Josh Allen's MVP performance. That was his MVP game right there. I'm going to take Buffalo soundly in this game. I think they win this game by more than 2 scores.
So I've been pretty, I wouldn't say like super high on Bo Nix, but I think in most of my videos, I've given Bo Nix a lot of credit. I think him and Sean Payton together all season, I think it's been a great. He got paired up with a really good coach. Very, very smart, very high intelligent as far as football goes, and I think that's great for Bo Nix. And I agree. I don't think if he had landed somewhere else, I don't think he would have gotten that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Going anywhere else. As far as this game goes, right? Buffalo has looked great all season.
Yeah.
Right. They have a couple quirky losses. I think they've looked great all season. I think personally for this game, for some reason, like my gut is sitting that I still think Buffalo's going to win. Don't take that away, right? I still think Buffalo's going to win. But for some reason, like in my gut, I think this game will be closer than some may think. For some reason, I'm thinking that Buffalo wins this by, maybe a touchdown. But like that's for some reason that's just sitting in my gut because this Broncos team has fought a lot this year. I mean, they are a very, very scrappy team, and I think they've gone through a lot of adversity just as an organization. So I think that it for some reason it just sits in my stomach that they're gonna play on a very high level to their competition. So I'm still going to take Buffalo. I'm not counting the Broncos out of the game completely.
Boys and girls, welcome to Heart Attack season, where every game is just too emotionally draining, and it's all just. That's why this last game against New England was just like, oh, this is great because this don't care about this at all. We lose this game, and we screw them out of a pick. Cool. I literally told my wife, I said, this is as easy as it's gonna get the rest of the way. This is it. Everything for the rest of the season. It's a heart attack every week. Heart attack every week.
So true.
And that's what I feel about this game too. With Denver is they're no slouch. They got a good defense. They're good defending a mobile. I mean, there's no quite mobile quarterback like Josh Allen, but they're good. They're good defensively against those kind of quarterbacks. And they've produced all year. They've gotten to this point. They're one stupid blocked field goal away from having 2 wins on Kansas City this season. You know, you can't sleep on it. I have the most confidence in the world that Buffalo wins this game, takes care of business, and puts himself in that inevitable matchup with Baltimore that comes in the next round in Buffalo. But, you know, you got to get there. You got to win your games. And nobody can be slept on when you get to this point of the season. And when it comes to the MVP talk, everybody already knows how I feel about everything. But at the end of the day, I'll trade in that stupid MVP if Buffalo wins the Super Bowl. I don't care about that. Thurman Thomas won the 1991 MVP. Nobody remembers that. Nobody remembers that because the Bills lost 4 Super Bowls in that stretch, okay? That is how I feel about that. And plus, I also think if Josh Allen doesn't get the MVP, then that might motivate him even more. I don't know. This team's ready. This team has proven a lot of people wrong all year. This team was going to finish 3rd, and the Jets were going to win the division. Remember that? Miami was somehow going to do better than this team. Yeah. The window was closed. It was sealed shut, and Josh Allen couldn't move a football without Stephon Diggs. Remember that. Don't forget that as they win this game this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't get MVP, I mean, his only other thing left is Super Bowl MVP.
That's all I want.
Right? You know, right? Fucker's going to get MVP somehow.
Right.
Jake's like, just one before I die, damn it.
Right. My dad's in his 60s. Get one for him, man. I don't even care about me. This ain't about me.
All right, so our next game up at 4:30 on Sunday is the Green Bay Packers going into Philadelphia to play the Eagles. Now, as of still this week, Jalen Hurts has not practiced. Still out on concussion protocol. Do you have confidence in the Eagles if Jalen Hurts doesn't play?
That's a great question. I don't know. That's a very tough question. This Packers team, you know, is like, it's also which version of this Packers team are you going to get? Mm-hmm. You know, to remind everybody of, you know, last season, and I bring last season up a lot, you know, just because I feel like it's a little bit relevant. Bring that up in these scenarios just to see last year at this point where these teams are to now. Last year, Green Bay was in a very, very similar situation. Last seed in the NFC wildcard picture, going into an NFC East team's home field turf. Everybody and their mother last year was picking the Cowboys to beat them. And what did they do? They went in there and routed the Cowboys, absolutely annihilated them in front of America. So that proves that Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love-led Packers team can be dangerous in the playoffs. There, you know, one thing that we cannot take away from the Packers is they are very well coached. Matt LaFleur is a very good coach. On the flip side of this, right, you know, you asked the question, I'm going to answer it for you right now. Jalen Hurts is the difference maker, in my opinion. I think it really depends. I mean, you know, do they see themselves winning a game with Kenny Pickett at quarterback? I don't think they do. I really don't think they do. You know, that would have to, you know, it would be very, you know, Saquon would be seeing a lot of what he saw when he was in the backfield in New York, a lot of stack boxes, a lot of, you know, them committing to stopping him on the run. You know, what NFL team in general is scared of Kenny Pickett at quarterback. I'll wait. Jalen Hurts being in that game, that's a whole different story. It's a whole different story. As much shit as I give the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, they're a Super Bowl contender. Yeah, it is what it is. They are a Super Bowl contender. Without him, they won't make it out of the first round. So my pick to this game is if the Eagles have Jalen Hurts, I think they win it close. If they don't have Jalen Hurts, I think it's going to Green Bay is going to channel their last year selves and whoop the absolute snot out of the Eagles if they don't have Jalen Hurts.
I have a similar perspective on that, but I think with the lack of practice, the lack of gaming, just with Jalen Hurts being away in terms of playing on the field for so long, I think even if you get him at the borderline and you still get him in there, I still think the Green Bay Packers win this game. I'm taking the Packers regardless if Jalen Hurts plays or not. But if Jalen Hurts plays, they absolutely have a chance to win that game, of course. I feel that way. And they have a favorable chance of winning that game. But I will take the Packers. They better think they're stars that Jordan Love's injury wasn't serious and that he's ready to go this week. They better be thinking somebody, whoever they believe in, whatever. But I would take the Packers in this game.
Yeah, we were this close to getting a Malik Willis versus Kenny Pickett playoff game.
Right there, there's two sides to this story for me. Obviously, I want Philadelphia to win because if we win, obviously it's a Philadelphia-Tampa Bay matchup in the postseason, which my wife and I love. Seems like it's been like that for years now. On the flip side of that, I would like Green Bay to win because also if we win, we host another playoff game at home. Right? Not too shabby there. Not too shabby there. But yeah.
So wait, you guys are the 3 seed, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
3 seed.
3 seed.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah, we got the 3 seed because LA lost last week. So that bumped us up to 3 instead of
okay.
So, but with this game, I do think Jalen Hurts is a difference maker. But I agree with Lil Jake here. I mean, he's been out 3 weeks without even being on the sidelines throwing a ball, right? So if he does practice this week, I mean, he's going to get 3-4 days, right, of practice before he just gets dropped into a postseason game, right? I mean, you want to talk about pressure and having the lights on you. I mean, that's a pretty big ask. I still think though that this Green Bay defense is still fairly stingy, right? This is another team that they've played well. They leveled off a little bit, but they've had a slight incline with their season. I'm gonna take Green Bay in this game, and I'm gonna take Green Bay with or without Jalen Hurts playing for Philadelphia.
Wow.
And I'm gonna take Green Bay. Sure, I'm not going to take them on a sure win or anything like that. I'm going to say that they go in and they play a tough game and edge out Philadelphia at home.
Am I really the only one picking the Eagles here? Oh my God, I feel sick. I don't feel good. This no pineapples. I don't like this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
Yeah. And also, I hope Philadelphia loses just out of spite of not playing Saquon that last game to beat Eric Dickerson's record.
Honestly, can I
please
chime in on that for a minute? As much as I fucking hate Saquon for going to the Eagles, I was pissed that they didn't play him. Yeah. I'm like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Like, as much as I was upset and angry at him for going to our division rival, that pissed me off. Like, let him get the damn record, man.
I get it, right? You want to rest your play. He needed 100 yards. You don't think he could have got 100 yards in the first 10 minutes against Dallas?
No, it was against us.
Oh, even better.
It would have been against us.
That's right. Washington played Dallas. That's right. Sorry.
Yeah,
but
even with them playing us, I still wanted him to get the record.
Okay, so you don't think he could have got 100 yards on the first play, even though I think it's impossible unless you pin him deep. But still,
Yeah, you would agree. The only possible way he could have, it would have been 99 yards, Brian.
But anyways, regardless.
Slow down, okay, slow down.
Just for that game, they would have extended. They would have extended the field 1 extra yard, just for him. They would have shortened one of the end zones just for him, just to do it. Anyways, yeah, I was speechless. I think it was so stupid. And then to come out and him say, I'm chasing after something more. There may not be. And if they get knocked out of the first round, this is going to look like the stupidest decision that you possibly could have had. Because you take a running back who was in the talks of MVP, and then you sit him to not break a record that stood for what, 30 plus
almost
years?
30 years, probably. Right. Yeah, probably a little over 30 years.
And then have him come out and say, I'm chasing something more, bro. If they get knocked out of the first round, Philadelphia is coming for Nick Sirianni's head. That's all I'm saying. Next game up, the Sunday night game, we have a rematch of Week 1 of this season, but we also have a rematch of the 2020 wild card game between Washington and Tampa Bay.
This two of my favorite offenses that aren't the Bills to watch in the NFL. This game, man, this is probably one of the ones that's got me the most torn because Tampa's got that nice home field advantage, and I was really surprised that things played because the NFC South is always like there in terms of the divisions because of the weak play in it. It's always like they're always slammed into the 4th seed, and I'm like they're the 3 seed this year. Oh, moving on up. They actually finished better than another division winner. They have been insane this year. Lucky for that Tampa Bay fan base, you guys, just moving from Tom Brady, and then you should get another franchise quarterback right here for you. You know what I mean? It's very nice. At best, he's above averagely serviceable. Like at least he does the most to put you in situations to win, and it's a very entertaining offense to watch. It's got a good run. They got a good run and pass balance. There's just games where Bucky Irving is doing his friggin' thing, and Rashad White's helping out, and then there goes Mike Evans, breaking and tying records. And even without Chris Godwin, they've still been able to produce. Washington has been amazing to watch. Jaden Daniels is incredible. Him and Bo Nix are like this in terms of like the rookie of the year, in my opinion. Jaden just gets a little more.
I'm sorry, I gotta interject one thing. You just said rookie of the year. My choice for rookie of the year, Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers deserves his voice spoken to. To me, because it's like just to me, he's got a lot of records now with this season. I think the only thing this is how the league holds it. The only thing that holds him down is that the Raiders did jack with what he did, and that's not his fault. It's not his fault. He's on a bum team. All right, R.I.P. Antonio Pierce's run there. By the way, It's not his fault. It's not his fault. Okay, but that's where. Listen, I agree. He played even better than Laporta did last year. Like he had an incredible season. I would slightly take Jaden Daniels. That's just me. Regardless, this game is it's gonna be fun. And watch me be wrong. And this is one of those stupid defensive games. And it's just like 13-10. No way, man. No way. These offenses are just too freaking good, man. If there's any game that I'm looking forward to watching that isn't the Bills game, it's this one. I can't pick a winner, but I'm going to take Tampa Bay. I'm going to take Tampa Bay and a nail biter. It's going to be a last-minute field goal. Whoever gets the ball last, man. That's what this game's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really disagree with anything that either of you have said. This is going to be a very fun game to watch. Now, the division rival in me doesn't want either of the NFC East teams to make it out of the first round, but I don't hate the Commanders. I very much respect what they have done all phases of the game this year. They've stepped up quite a bit from where they were last season. Complete 180 turnaround for this franchise. Caps off to them for making it this far, and at one point almost being in position to win the division. We were talking about Baker, being a franchise quarterback or at least above average. I mean, the man threw 42 touchdowns this year. 44, yeah, 44 touchdowns. I mean, let that sink in. And then you got Sam Darnold, who we're going to talk about next, threw like almost 40. Probably, I don't know if he did break 40, but he was damn close.
Carolina.
These two were in the same quarterback room a couple years ago in Carolina. Baker also definitely deserved to, in my opinion, deserved to be a Pro Bowler this year. He got snubbed. I think, at least the talks of Baker Mayfield being a top 10 quarterback need to be started. I think he's definitely proved himself over the past couple of years, especially with a major step this year. I mean, if he's not top 10, he's definitely top 15. Definitely, without a question. Especially the way that he leads this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. They rally around Baker Mayfield. He is the main voice in that locker room, other than, Mike Evans and, Vita Vea and guys like that. But, they rally around this man. I see it. They will run through a wall for Baker Mayfield, and Jaden Daniels, I mean, what isn't there to say about Jaden Daniels? I mean, just a phenomenal first season, and being paired with Dan Quinn is just like a match made in heaven. So yes, it is very hard to pick a winner in this game. Ultimately, I am gonna side with my boy BG here. I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay just because I just don't I can't pick against I can't pick the division rival, but. Although, if they win this game, I'm not going to be surprised because, that's how good of a football team that this Commanders team is.
Plot twist, I'm picking Washington. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. Okay. And I'm the Pope.
Okay, let me...
About money, that's,
All right, here we go. Okay, so let me take you guys back. Last year, start of the season, right? Tom Brady retires, right? Here comes Baker Mayfield on a prove it deal off of one game in LA, and so here comes Baker Mayfield, and here I am, right? Fuck, here we go. Back to.
I'm going to cut you off, but we're at the points where even on this podcast we were talking about the future of Mike Evans and where he might get traded and stuff like that.
Yeah, And so here I am oh, fuck. I was like, Baker Mayfield's going to be the same thing as fucking Jameis Winston. Here we go. Whatever. And then, right, we go ahead. We win the division again. Right? 3 straight division wins. 4 straight playoff appearances. We make a deep run. We make it to the division round. We play Detroit. Play a hell of a game against Detroit.
Yes, you did. You did.
Right? And I'm thinking, oh, shit. I was like, but was it a fluke? Was it a fluke? Right? Just because he's on a prove it deal, we sign him, right? We give him his money, we sign him. We come out game 1 against Washington. We beat Washington 37-20. And Jaden Daniels, credit to Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels played phenomenal in that first game. I mean, he ran left and right on us. I mean, he used his legs and he used them well, right? I think there was things in that game that they didn't want to quite open up to him yet that they did later in the season. And obviously Jaden Daniels he's progressed. He's gotten better. He's gotten so much better. Now we're here. Nail biter to win the division. Any of you guys watched, so after the bye week, our defense has been iffy all year. Right. Always has been. If there's one thing that I've talked about, it's our defense. Our offense was good, even without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, right? We mounted a comeback against Baltimore. We were a coin toss away against Kansas City. We went ahead on San Francisco. right? So all these things, all these one possession games, like we were in these games offensively. It was our defense. After the bye week, in the second half of games, we have only allowed 2 touchdowns and 4 field goals since the bye week in the second half of games, right? So, and we're holding our own in the first half. You look at the Saints game, right? The Saints, they're not much of a team. We hold them to 16 points in the first half. We hold Carolina to 14 points in the first half. I think as far like, let's see, LA was 17 points, like, all these things, right? So it's there, right? But can we put that together for at least 3 quarters, right? Because if you get too far behind in the first half, it's iffy. Can we put that together for 3 quarters? So this team, Baker Mayfield, has done phenomenal things. He completely deserves to be talked about as a top 10 quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point I'm going to be going down to Tampa here in the next few weeks, just after the Super Bowl. I'll probably pick up a Baker Mayfield jersey. All right. Just because I want to. Our rookies have played phenomenal. Bucky Irving, first 1,000-yard rusher since Doug Martin in 2015. Jalen McMillan has stepped up in the absence of Chris Godwin.
Moment of silence for Rashad White fantasy owners.
So I was one of them too.
Like, yeah, he should have such a good year.
I wish only Bucky Irving would have made a difference. When you draft no good receivers, it just screws your whole.
Yeah,
it just doesn't matter what you got going on.
So here we are heading into the postseason, starting the postseason the exact same way that we started the regular season, at home against Washington. This game is going to be an absolute dogfight. I really do believe that, because if this game is going to step up,
and now you guys are playing a battle-tested Washington team now.
Yes,
like they have been battle-tested.
That's exactly. So this game is going to be won, and if this game is going to be won, it's going to be won in the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
So guys like Vita Vea, guys like
That
Levante David.
That boy Vita Vea is nasty, man.
Huge. Anthony Nelson, Khalil Kancey. I mean, all these guys have to have huge pressure. That's it. What's hurting us is the back end. No Jamel Dean, no Antoine Winfield, right? Those are big losses in the secondary. Now, mind you, we've missed Antoine Winfield probably the last 3 games. And again, that second half stat, right, of our defense has played really well. So with this game, I don't want to drag this on too long. So with this game, I'm going to pick Tampa. This game is going to come down to who has the ball last. Tampa is going to win this game 34-28. That is going to be the final score of this game.
Could that be an overtime score?
Probably. And with the new overtime rules,
I don't want to watch an overtime game in the playoffs.
Yeah, right. So that's what it's going to be. 34-28. Tampa Bay on top at home to put us into the divisional round, either against Philadelphia or against the Vikings or the Rams, whomever. That's my pick. I've been fairly accurate with games this year, at least when it comes to the Bucks. I predicted us finishing 10-7. We finished 10-7. I think I got 4 games wrong in that prediction. So,
well, at least you're more accurate predicting your Bucks than I am my Giants, because I don't fucking know what we're doing half the time. So, there's that.
And hopefully you guys will get another victory one-on-one with BG episode after the Washington game. Right. So moving in to our Monday night game, very final wild card weekend. Minnesota coming off of a devastating loss against the Lions, to the Rams, who are coming off of a loss to Seattle, a very close loss. Go ahead and take this one away.
Let this sink in for a minute. We got a Rams team that finished 9-8. Yeah, they finished 9-8, going up against at home in a playoff game, going up against a 14-3 wild card team. The NFL in 2024, ladies. 2025 now. Sorry, 2025. This is the NFL in 2025, ladies and gentlemen. We are here, and I'm here for it. Anyway, yeah. So if you would have told the Minnesota Vikings at the beginning of the season they would be 14-3 with Sam Darnold as their quarterback, especially if you told me that they were going to be 14-3 with Sam Darnold as their quarterback. Because if you remember, I don't know if you guys remember this, but week 1, I was saying that before the Giants played the Vikings, I'm like, if you want to start your season off right, you got to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. And then I was going in on Sam Darnold. I'm like, this guy's, the guy that's seeing ghosts, and he goes out there and fucking whoops our ass. And then he continues to kick ass all season. And I'm like, where did this Sam Darnold come from? I mean, the guy has been nothing short of phenomenal all year long. Some point during the season, he was in the MVP talks very early on with how well he was playing. Definitely well deserving of the Pro Bowl nod that he got. I mean, the list goes on, and that's another one that was in that Carolina quarterback room, right, with Baker Mayfield. And both of them almost finished with 40 plus touchdowns apiece. And it's just mind boggling. And then you got this LA Rams team, that they were, they had a very, very bumpy start. But then they get Cooper Kupp back, then they get Puka Nacua back, and they were, still kind of like lingering around dealing with some injuries. I think Cooper Kupp, missed a game in that stretch. It was either one of them missed like a game in that stretch. They were still kind of dealing with injuries, but they finished the job and won the division, which I definitely had a feeling that they were going to do. All power to the Rams, because I don't before the trade deadline, especially I heard talks around the league that Matthew Stafford was on the trade block. There was like a lot of these. I think me and BG actually covered that during the season that that who knows, this guy could be on the trade block. Cooper Kupp could be on the trade block. Who knows? And then they end up making the playoffs again, winning the division. This time they have a home playoff game. They won the NFC West. Matt Stafford in some cases is almost like Eli in a way. All you got to do is get him there. And he can make some noise. And I think as far as this game goes, game was played earlier this season. The Vikings went into LA and lost. That was one of their losses, was against this Rams team. I think the Rams get the job done again. I think they find a way to win this game. I just think that Matt Stafford is the more seasoned professional, and especially if he's got both of his weapons firing on all cylinders. This Rams defense is actually very slept on. I feel like their pass rush is does really good, and you saw it against that game against Detroit. That Minnesota just played. They got to Sam Darnold and bothered him, and I think that this Rams pass rush, this very underrated Rams pass rush, will do something similar. I think that's going to be the key for the Rams to win. It's going to be close, though. I just think this game could have the potential to be a shootout.
Yeah, it's a tale of which version of these teams are we going to see. Are we getting the Minnesota that showed up most of the season? Or are we going to get the Minnesota that just laid down for Detroit? On the other end with the Rams, are we going to get the version, that lost games that didn't look so good? Or are we going to get the Rams that hung up 44 points and beat Buffalo? Who knows? That was just – that shows you right there, that game was the ceiling game for the Rams. That was the game that showed you this offense is still very capable of hanging anything up on anybody, and they can hang with anybody. That game was insanity. I haven't had a lot of time to touch on that game. Life's a little busy, but let me tell you, man, that I'm usually very upset after losing games. And I sat down and I said to myself, sorry, Josh Allen glazing warning coming up right here. I just sat back and I said to myself, I pray for days like these where I could just watch my quarterback score six touchdowns and just go ape shit. Anyways, cutting back to reality now. The Rams have the potential to beat really good football teams. And the Vikings have been a really good football team 90% of the year. This is a tough call. They're both dome teams, so this is their environment. There's really not this low like home field advantage. The Rams fans aren't really known for like turning it up. You know what I mean? They're not one of those fan bases. It does hurt Minnesota taking away the fans from them because I've seen some games in Minnesota where that becomes a difference. This one's harder than Washington and Tampa. I didn't think that there was going to be a harder pick here. I'm going to show some love to my SC boy. Give me the Vikings here. Sam Darnold gets his playoff win here. But this again, one of those games, man. And the Rams could easily put up 52 points. That's why I want them to lose. I don't want to play them again. I don't want to see them in the Super Bowl. I don't want them. I want to see them there.
I think the Vikings lost that game on purpose. That Detroit game. I think they wanted to be a 5 seed, so they could join the company of what was it, the 2007 Giants and the 2020 Buccaneers to be the only 5 seed to win a Super Bowl. I think they wanted to go on the road to make it that much more impressive, just so they could meet Buffalo in the Super Bowl, the battle of 2 0-4 Super Bowl teams going head to head in the Super Bowl. There's a storyline for you.
That's a story for you there.
There's a fucking storyline. Yeah, so with this game, I think you guys are right. I think it all depends on what team shows up for each side, right? We've seen the highs and we've seen the lows of both sides. It is a tough matchup. Although Rams fans, right, get loud and crazy and everything. I mean, they showed up last year for the postseason. Or 2 years ago, whatever it was. So I think
that was
it 3 years ago?
3 years ago now.
Okay. 3 years ago. I think home field advantage still does play a factor. Actually, I'm gonna switch this up. I think the Vikings win this game. I think they went to LA last time. They got hosed on a no face mask call.
That too. Yep, I was sitting here watching that.
And I think they go in, they get their revenge. I'm going to pick the Vikings to win this game.
Leaving me on an island by myself. I see how you fuckers are. All right.
If there was ever a hill you were going to die on, it was going to be the Matt Stafford one. So, I mean.
What can I say?
All right, guys. Hey, that wraps this up for the second episode of KFR Sportscast this season.
Yeah,
here for the first week of the postseason.
It's so nice we've only done it twice.
That's right. Hopefully we can do it again as we move into the divisional round.
I hope so too.
You know,
yeah.
So that way we can keep pushing this content out to you. Listen, we appreciate you guys.
I miss being here with you two.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Big thank you to all of the viewers. You know, we see that you've been watching our videos. You know, we've gotten the subscribers. We're slowly building our YouTube channel back up, and we super appreciate it. So thank you for watching this video. Like, comment, share with your friends, right? We're in postseason football, which ultimately means we're at the best part of football, but the worst part of football because that means the season is almost over. All right? It's happy and it's sad. All right, but at the same time, make sure that you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel so that way you can stay up to date with all the latest episodes. And we will hopefully see you next week, all 3 of us. Until next time, I am BG. Tagging along with me as always, well, not as always, but sometimes always, the heel and Big Sexy. We'll talk to you guys later.
60% of the time, it works every time. Big Sexy out.